Welcome back to the channel today, guys. And what an interesting episode of Chainsaw Man we got today. I'll be honest, after the craziness of last week's episode, I didn't think we'd go in this direction, but I think I actually like it. I think I really like the direction we're going in, and I think it's needed, honestly. I really do. I think the introduction of a character like Kishibe is really gonna set our story forward, really gonna help progress it. And for whatever reason, they just wouldn't say his name. I had to go look his name up, because unless I'm completely blind and they said it in an earlier episode and I just don't remember, they just refused to tell us what his name is. I actually had to go look it up. But I feel like he's going to be an important player moving forward, because he says a line in this episode that I think is really true. How he addresses Denji and says, "Hey, you're a small fry right now. You're nothing. You're going to get taken out with the quickness," as he did, as we saw in our previous episode. So to have him, who says he's the strongest devil hunter, come and train him in Power, I'm very much interested to see how that is. I'd like to think he wouldn't get taken out in 2 episodes or 3 like Himeno, but who knows at this point. So let's just get straight into it and talk about Chainsaw Man episode 10 today, because it was a pretty interesting episode, honestly. So our episode begins with us seeing Aki in the hospital, because remember, he got taken out with the quickness against the Katana Devil in the last episode, so I'm sure he ain't feeling too good. And I like how we get the reverse of what happened earlier in our season, where Denji and Power are sitting there, but instead of cutting the apples, they're just eating them, reading manga. Oh yeah, you're here, Aki, that's right, I forgot. They should have been reading a Chainsaw Man volume, guys. Come on, cross-promotion! You gotta do it! But yeah, I just find the contrast pretty funny. And it's here we see Denji and Power start fighting with each other like usual, because they're literally just cat and dog, basically. But it's here Aki gets a little serious and asks them, "Hey, who else in Division 4 is still alive?" As Denji tells him that little one Kobini is alive, along with the guy with the glasses, but he quit public safety. And you can tell in this scene that Aki is kind of shook by that a little bit, because that's one less person that can help him fight the Gun Devil, which is his ultimate goal. And upon seeing this, Denji's just like, Makima asked for me in Power, so we're gonna get out of here, okay? And once they leave, Aki actually reaches for his sword and says, "Curse, how many years do I have left?" And when the cursed devil appears, it tells him flat out, "You have 2 years left." And you can tell that Aki is trying to keep his cool in this situation, but he's visibly shaken by this as he reaches for his cigarettes. And upon doing that, as he sees the lighter, he remembers Himeno and what she meant to him, and he starts breaking down right here. And while I don't think Aki had romantic feelings for Himeno, you can tell immediately that she meant a lot to him. Because here's how I view it. Himeno is kind of like Aki's rock. She kind of kept him tethered, kept him from going too unhinged. She was like his emotional support in a way. And now that he's gone, I'm a little worried about Aki, actually. Where's he gonna go? Especially with how our episode ends today, too. I don't see this ending well for Aki, honestly. And as we transition outside, we see that Denji's at the door as he hears Aki's crying. And he says, "Damn, I came back for my manga, but I caught him crying." As he says, of course he's crying. A bunch of his workmates just died. And this scene, I feel like, is really telling for Denji's character. I do. I really think this shows us where he's at right now as a person. And I don't dislike it. It perfectly fits him as he walks away and thinks to himself, wait a minute. Why don't I have any tears? As he says, "I was so sad when Pochita died, but she was the first person to say she'd be my friend. But he doesn't feel anything at all. Am I too cold?" As he says, "Would I cry if Power died?" As he says, "I don't think so." Then he thinks, what would happen if Aki died? Would I cry? Probably not. And this one's really telling to me as he says, what if Makima died? If she died, I feel like I'd be down for a couple days, but then carry on with my happy life 3 days later. Because I'll be happy as long as I have 3 meals a day, a bath, and a good... And it's here he thinks to himself, like, did I not just lose my organ heart, but my human heart too? And I think this is really fitting for Denji. Like, I feel it would be more out of place if he suddenly did care so much for these people, especially with how he grew up, and now that he has Pochita inside of him, he just has a severe lack of empathy. And it's understandable. As he says, whatever, never mind the serious stuff. Unhappy thoughts only make you unhappy, which is true. And as we transition back to Aki, we see that Kuroshi and Tendo walk into the room, and his first words are, bro, are you crying? As they say, we came from Kyoto as advisors for Division 4 at Makima's request. But it's here we transition to Makima, Denji, and Power as she's walking them through the graveyard and tells them that the hotel incident and the latest attack prove that Denji is their target. As Denji asks her, are you going to train us, Makima? But she says, unfortunately, I'll be pretty busy, even though that would have been wild to see. So I'm introducing you to someone perfect for the job. And as Makima tries to introduce him to them, he just tells them, shh, be quiet, but answer my questions at the same time. How did you feel when your teammates died? As they're both just like, whatever, they're dead, it happens. 2, do you want to get revenge? As they're both just like, it's too dark, I don't want to deal with that. 3, humans or devils? Which side are you on? And they take a moment to think about this one as Denji says, whoever takes care of me. And Power says, whoever that's winning. As he turns around and tells them, you both get a perfect score. Types like you are so few. I like you. As he says, Makima, you can go. I'm going to begin their training right here and now. As he actually wraps his arm around them and says, I'm a devil hunter from Division 1. I'll be happy if you call me master, so why don't you do that? I like booze, women, and killing devils. Don't we all? As he actually starts choking them out right here, so much so that he actually breaks their necks. As he tells them, your muscle and bone structures are the same as ours. You are unable to move when your neck snapped. The difference between you and humans is you recover by drinking blood, as he dumps blood into both of their mouths. And as they get back up, he says, for whatever reason, the gun devil wants your heart. But you're just a small fry who'll get crushed in no time. That must have worried Makima a lot. As he says, I've trained humans before, but never devils. The drunk me was thinking what to do. Then an idea came to me. As he tells them that I'm the strongest devil hunter, so the devil who can defeat me would be the strongest too. I'll keep hunting you two until you're able to defeat me. Which sounds pretty cruel, and I'd argue it is, but will absolutely be effective with these two. As he says, let's try that again. So Power makes a blood hammer and tosses it to Denji, and they get to work. Denji gets to swing the hammer one time before he's taken out of commission. Literally stabbed through his jaw, through his head. He's done. He's dead. And Power gets her throat slit. Within seconds, he's taken them both out. As he says that the boy is immortal and the fiend is semi-immortal. And all you think about is to bash someone's head in. Neither of you has human rights. As he starts explaining to them that ever since I was a kid, I was too strong and constantly broke my toys. I've always wanted toys that won't break. I'll turn you two into the best. And judging by these two bleeding out on the ground, I'm gonna imagine it's gonna take a while. And it's here we transition to a pretty important character scene as we go back to Aki as he's trying to call Cone, but he can't do it. As Kuroshi tells him, you abused the power and got on its bad side. It probably won't ever let you use it again. Which kind of sucks because Cone was awesome, bro. But it is what it is, I guess. As he says, that sword's the cursed devil, right? I bet you can only use it a few more times and that's it. As Tendo tells Aki, it may sound inappropriate, but don't you think it's time to quit after the incident? In fact, someone from your division did leave. As Kuroshi tells him, if you are staying, you need to make a contract with a stronger devil. As they end up giving Aki an ultimatum right here, like, will you quit and enjoy the time you have left? Or will you stay here in this hell? And to me, the answer is completely obvious. Earlier in the episode, we literally saw that, yeah, Aki only has 2 years left to live. He lost everyone that's important to him. Like, if he leaves, what life does he really have? He doesn't have anything anymore. He's lost everything, literally. To me, there's only one answer. He quite literally has nothing left to lose but his life. As Aki tells them, the one that killed my family and the one who killed my teammate are both alive. How the hell could I quit? And I think that's a great answer. As they tell Aki, alright, we're gonna go for today. But as they're leaving, they say, looks like what our senior in Kyoto told us was true. Nobody in the special division is in their right mind. Be careful. You may want to take an objective look at yourself. And as they leave, they tell him, there's a lady here to see you, by the way. And when she comes in, Aki is beyond shocked at who is in front of him. And as we transition back to Kishibe, Power, and Denji, he's like, alright, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll visit you at your house tomorrow. As he leaves, and we see Denji and Power are beat all to hell. And as we see Power and Denji walking back into town, Denji's just like, I won't be happy at all if I have to keep living like this. I worked so hard to be happy, and now I'm working so hard and unhappy? That's crap. As Power asks him, should we flee together? But Denji says no, because we'd be running from public safety if we did that. And then they do everything to hunt us down. But it's here our girl Power comes up with an idea, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. She says, he's very strong, but alcohol has rotted his brain. We should fight him using our brains too. As Denji's like, yeah, like those smart characters in manga, like them. As they say, with our level of intellect, it'll be impossible to lose. And I guess if you think about it, together they have about one brain. They can equal the intelligence of Cat Dog, if you think about it. So maybe they can potentially do it. And as we transition to the next day, when Kishibe is heading to their place, we see Power and Denji are ready to attack as Denji says, anyone who ruins our daily life has to die. I love that they're wearing glasses, by the way. It really shows the intellect. Super smart operation, commence! And as Kishibe is about to open the door, Power sends a spear right through it, which he dodges with the quickness. As he says, an ambush, huh? The hunter is now the prey. As we see that Power planted blood up above to do a surprise attack with spears, but Kishibe just dodges it like he's freaking Neo, dude, in the Matrix. As we see Denji drop from the floor above and try to swing him with the axe, but Kishibe literally just spin kicks him so hard that he knocks the glasses off and incapacitates him. He says, that was your best try yet. A prey will use its brain at the moment of life or death. So you should really use your brain to the fullest. And it's here he explains to them, like, there are 2 reasons you failed this time. 1, Power uses too much blood fighting like that and makes herself anemic, which seems like a huge drawback, honestly. And 2, you, Denji, failed to predict my attack. As he says, nice try overall, though. We're done for today. And as he's walking away, Denji's like, Power! He said we're done for the day, thank God! Power's just like, lucky us. But as he's walking away, he literally throws a knife into Denji's head. As he tells him some honestly good advice. A prey should never trust a hunter. And it's here we transition to Aki, Kurosi, and Tendo as he says, signing a contract with a strong devil means the contract will probably be brutal. When you return to work, you'll be plunging into the lion's cage. You'll need a weapon to defend yourself. As they actually take Aki to an underground prison that public safety has, as they say, this is where public safety locks up the devils they've captured. We're gonna need you to find your weapon here. But then Kurosi asks him a really out of place question, like, is that cute girl from yesterday your girlfriend? As Aki tells them what I guessed when I first watched the episode, and I was right apparently, that she's my teammate's sister. So Himeno's sister. As Aki tells them, she gave me letters. And as we transition back to that scene, she tells him, these are letters that my sister sent me. As she tells Aki, I think you should read them. And as Aki's reading them, he sees that these are all her feelings, all her emotions. Her just wrapped up in one piece of paper, a couple pieces of paper, just everything she was feeling at the moment. As Aki realizes to himself how much he meant to her. And it hits probably way harder. And as we transition back, we get to a room, as Kuroshi says, "We'd like you to make a contract with the devil in this cell." It's the future devil, which, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, isn't that the devil we see dancing in the opening? I believe it is, right? I've heard that that's who that is, so it's going to be crazy. As he says, 2 people in public safety have a contract with it. One of them gave half their lifespan. The other gave it their eyes, sense of taste, and smell. And as Aki makes his way in there, they actually have to lock the door behind him as he stands there and just stares down this floating eyeball there. And our episode ends. And what a crazy episode, honestly. This really set up a lot of things for the future. Like, I'll be honest, I'm kind of worried for Aki after this episode. As I said earlier in the video, that Himeno, I really felt like was his rock. Kind of kept him from going too crazy, you know? Kind of grounded him a bit. And without her here, I think Aki's just gonna have this reckless abandon. Like, he only has a couple years left. Like, he's just gonna do whatever it takes to achieve his goal. And like I said, I don't see it ending well for him. And Kishibe training Power and Denji, I think, is very interesting. Because I think they're definitely going to come out stronger because of it, for sure. So I'm very interested to see where we go in our next couple episodes. Because if I remember correctly, Chainsaw Man only has 12 episodes in this season. I'm pretty sure they said they only have 12. So we only have 2 more episodes left. So I'm really curious to know, like, how we're going to end the season. You know? I don't know. This show is just so good. It really is good. Like, when it first started, I didn't know if I'd like it as much. But once we got towards the end of this season, like, it's just ramped up more and more and just become more interesting. And I just really enjoy it, you know? So I want to know what happens next, and I hope you guys have the same curiosity and come see my videos so we find out together. But that'll be it for today's episode, guys. I hope you guys have a great day, week, month, and year. And until next time, have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys later. Deuces.